Welcome back to the deep dive. Let's start with our word for today, talisman.
Ah, right. Like an object, maybe a charm that people believe has some kind of magic power.
Exactly, something to bring good fortune. And, that whole idea of seeking luck or a certain result, it brings us right to our topic today.
Yeah, we're looking at that line, which can get pretty fuzzy sometimes, between superstition and faith.
We've got some excerpts here from a piece called Faith versus Superstition.
Mm-hmm. And our goal, really, is to kind of unpack the differences for you, but also see where they might, connect or overlap in our actual lives.
Okay, so let's start with superstition. The source presents it as, well, almost like a universal formula, doesn't it?
Yeah, very straightforward. Like a specific action leads to a totally predictable outcome for pretty much everyone.
The classic example they use is breaking a mirror. Instant bad luck, supposedly.
Right. It's not really personal. It's just a rule that exists out there.
Almost passive, like you just accept this preset thing. Is that fair?
I think that's a good way to put it. And that's where the source draws a contrast with faith. Faith, while it definitely involves believing without, solid proof.
Sure, that's key.
It's usually tied to a personal reason or a specific outcome you really want.
Okay, like the example given about giving a partner some space during an argument.
Exactly that, yeah. You're doing it hoping for a better resolution based on your specific situation, your hope.
So one's like a general public rule, the other's more tied to a specific personal hope or reason.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the source does admit, doesn't it, that this part of faith, the believing without hard evidence, it can look a bit
naive, yeah, and acknowledges that perception.
Right.
But then it argues there's real value there, that act of having faith, especially when you don't know the outcome for sure.
when things are uncertain.
Exactly. It can actually create a kind of foundation, maybe temporary, but something to stand on because you want that outcome so badly. The source uses this really interesting image for it. It says we're like apprentices trying to create something impossible.
Just because we want it to be real. Wow. That idea of always learning, always trying, even when it feels impossible.
Yeah. What strikes you about that?
Well, it connects so well with our quote of the day, which is also from the source text, quoting Hemingway.
Oh, right. The one about apprentices.
Yeah. We are all apprentices in a craft where no one ever becomes a master.
That really speaks to the ongoing nature of it all, doesn't it? Belief, learning, whether it's superstition or personal faith.
We never fully get there, never fully understand or control it all.
And that uncertainty brings up another key point from the source. Limits.
Limits. How so?
Well, we each have to decide how far we're willing to go with these beliefs, these actions, whether it's a superstition or an act of faith.
Oh, okay. Setting personal boundaries for belief.
Right. And it also mentions, importantly, I think, that if things get too heavy or confusing, reaching out for support, like to family or friends, is definitely an option.
That makes sense. The source also included this really striking image.
The one at the crossroads.
Yes. Someone's standing there, stormy skies above, flipping a coin, but they also have a lucky rabbit's foot nearby.
Yeah, that's a powerful picture.
It really makes you pause and think about that moment of choice,
Absolutely. You've got pure chance with the coin flip.
Right.
Then this reliance on a charm, the rabbit's foot, for good luck.
And all under these uncertain, stormy conditions with different paths ahead.
It just captures that tension perfectly, I think, between random chance, our own beliefs or hopes, and that deep-seated desire we have for things to turn out well.
So it shows how we use both, maybe,
Yeah.
superstition and faith, as ways to kind of navigate life's uncertainties.
That seems to be the core idea. They're both ways we engage when we don't have all the answers.
Okay, so pulling this all together for the listener.
Yeah.
The big takeaway seems to be, well, while superstition often feels universal and maybe a bit impersonal, and faith feels very personal at their heart, both involve a kind of belief and something beyond concrete proof. And it's often driven by wanting a specific result.
Yeah, the real difference the source points to is why. Is it a widely held, almost automatic belief? Or is it rooted in your own personal reasoning and desires?
That distinction feels key.
Definitely. And thinking about that rote again, that we are all apprentices.
Yeah.
It leads to a final thought for you listening. Where in your own life are you maybe walking that line between a common belief, maybe a tradition or superstition, and your own deeply held personal faith in how you want things to be?
Something to definitely reflect on.